Let's see here. So you have Abner Maris, who is 30-2 with one draw. Remember, he got knocked out by Johnny Gonzalez in what was a devastating defeat, in his career. Then the next fight after that, well, not the next fight after that, the next big fight he fought was against Leo Santa Cruz. So basically, let's put things into perspective. Remember, he was heavily him and Nonito Donaire was going back and forth about fighting each other. It never, came about. So then he went on the fight of Johnny Gonzalez, which on paper was a good fight back then. I didn't cover that fight. I remember. I was in rehab at that time. Long story. He got knocked out. But a lot of insiders or people who've been following Johnny Gonzalez was looking like, yo, with the style that Abner Maris fights, and he was somewhat doing something similar to what Donaire was doing at that time, when he was moving up in weight divisions, and kind of, you were seeing that his power wasn't really carrying up. So now, as you notice, at 126 pounds, he's not stopping anybody. He's just, throwing a lot of punches and putting on good fights. So he fought Johnny Gonzalez, got knocked out, got stopped. They were supposed to fight in a rematch. Didn't happen. He then went on to fight Jonathan Oquendo, Jose Ramirez, and Arturo Reyes. Now, majority of those fights, I believe 2 or 3 of those fights were kind of like, if I'm correct, those were like undercard, like not co-featured, but the fight before, or Showtime Extreme fights. They wasn't really big, popular, marketed fights. But then in a big fight that a lot of fans wanted to see, he fought Leo Santa Cruz. Now, Leo Santa Cruz, as you know, at that point in time, before he fought Abner Maris, wasn't really fighting anybody. He was fighting sparring partners, and he was getting the Mayweather undercard co-feature, treatment. Thank you, Al Heyman. So that was also Leo Santa Cruz's first major fight. It was a big fight. It took place actually on my birthday. I remember because I covered it. I was in a hotel in 2015. So since then, Abner Maris has went on to fight Jesus Cuellar in a fight where, now remember, he fought Leo Santa Cruz, lost that fight, and then came back over a year later and got a WBA world title shot against Jesus Cuellar. So basically, him and Leo Santa Cruz fought for the WBA Super World title at 126 pounds, right? Then he went on to fight Jesus Cuellar and won the WBA World. So after losing, he got a title shot, won the title. Now the WBA has ordered Leo Santa Cruz, WBA Super World Champion, to fight Abner Maris, WBA World Champion. Now here's where things get interesting. We know that the WBA be on some bullshit, If you don't know, the WBA is only supposed to have one title in each division, and they said they were going to do their best to eliminate titles, but then they go do something like this. Now, here's the thing. If they do this, the winner of Leo Santa Cruz versus Abner Maris, just like the winner of Golovkin versus Jacob, should be the only WBA champion in the 126-pound division. But don't be surprised with the WBA to renege again and make whoever loses this fight, to probably fight for the WBA World again. Or to have somebody else fight for the WBA World. But anyway, to look at the perspective of the division, you have Gary Russell, who's pretty much he's been dealing with some injuries, but he needs to start having big fights now because he ain't been fighting. He's fighting Oscar Escandón May the 20th. He's a WBC. The IBF is Lee Selby. Many want to see Lee Selby fight Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton is rumored to be returning in July. Shout out to Mike. We likely going to be covering that fight. He's rumored to be returning in July in Ireland. So it's all about, will Lee Selby want to go over there? Now, they're all Al Heyman fighters. Abner Maris is an Al Heyman fighter. Gary Russell, who's a champion, is an Al Heyman fighter. Carl Frampton's an Al Heyman fighter. Let me go look real quick. Yeah, Leo Santa Cruz, WBA champion, Super World champion, Al Heyman fighter. Carl Frampton, who just lost his last fight to Leo Santa Cruz in the rematch, Al Heyman fighter. Abner Maris, WBA World Champion, Al Heyman fighter. Gary Russell, WBC Champion, Al Heyman fighter. Lee Selby, IBF Champion, Al Heyman fighter. So basically, he has the champions in all the 126-pound division. But it's all about where does they go. So basically, in order for Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Maris not to happen, it would have to be a unification. So either he would have to fight Lee Selby, or either he could go over to Ireland, you know, like Cole Frampton wants to fight Cole Frampton, since Cole Frampton fought in the state twice, to fight Cole Frampton over there and give Abner Maris some type of step aside, you know, agreement money or whatever the case may be. You know, now as far as he could go to Gary Russell route, but he can't go to Gary Russell route because Gary Russell already has a fight in May. And if I'm correct, yes, it is correct. You can go read the full story right down below in the description box at FightView360.com. They have 30 days to get a deal done, so he can't fight Gary Russell. You know, I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty details, but it has to be either Cole Frampton via step aside money, or it's going to have to be Lee Selby. He can't do anything else. Now, when you look at the 100 in and you got Oscar Valdez, who's the WBO champion. So when you look at the 126-pound division, you do have fights that are bigger, that are big fights out there. For example, you got Scott Quigg, who is now with Freddie Rose. Scott Quigg is still a very marketable name and a very good 126-pounder, despite, you know, what you may think. You still got Cuellar out there. You got Oscar Valdez. You even got Sipiwe Viejo, who could have got a win over Nonito Donaire if Nonito Donaire didn't go to the whole eye thing, but his eye was fucked up. You got Jojo Diaz, who's out there, but he's a Golden Boy fighter. You know, that's going to be, it's promotional shit right there. You even got Ronnie Rios, Golden Boy fighter. Jonathan Barrows, you know, it's like the division is pretty, it's just pretty deep. Now, we're only talking about 126-pounders. We're not talking about the 122-pounders that could possibly move up to, you know, 100 and 26 pounds. Like, people have been wanting Rigondeaux to be in the mix with these guys, but that's just a whole different, you know, I really don't want to, you know, get into that too much. And then what about Nonito Donaire, who is now a free agent, and it's still somewhat wondered if he really can still make 122 pounds comfortably, you know? So, like I said, we're just going to have to wait and see. But do you want to see, truth be told, I mean, it was a good fight. I wouldn't mind seeing Santa Cruz versus Maris again. And after all, after seeing Santa Cruz in so many, you know, BS fights for so long, it's actually good to actually see him fighting, you know, like names. I mean, he fought Carl Frampton twice. He fought Kinko Martinez, yeah, but still, you know, Kinko Martinez still was somewhat of a known name. And then he fought Abner Maris. So Abner Maris, Kinko Martinez, Carl Frampton fought twice. Those were his last 4 fights. And then to go in a rematch with Abner Maris. Now remember, that's going to be 2 rematches in 5 fights. If it does happen, I don't see any problem with it. You know? But then after that, it's like, okay, well, you should unify. But now that I think about it, I don't think he should fight Abner Maris again. I think he should go after Lee Selby. I understand that Cole Frampton wants Lee Selby, but, you know, hey, that's all at the Al Heyman. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live with the links to my social media or right down below in the description box. Please subscribe.